Welcome everyone for another episode of Vinny Presents. Today in studio we have hailing from Central Jersey. He's an actor, filmmaker, awesome guy. We have Kevin Interdonato. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Vin. I appreciate it, man.
My pleasure. We've been trying to get this happening for some time. I
Yeah.
had some of your colleagues, Jeff Stewart and Tom, Rebecca, and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Adam Ratcliffe.
Sure.
But we
Sure.
saved the best for last.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but all good guys, right?
Awesome guys, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you're just as great. Um,
Thanks.
so tell us a little bit about yourself. You're an actor, obviously a filmmaker. We got a couple films we want to talk about today. So I'll turn the floor over to you, Kevin.
Okay, a little about me. Grew up in Jersey, blue collar family. I grew up in a family construction business. My mother was a preschool teacher for a long time. And I was a wild kid from Jersey, man. I don't know how else to say it. I always felt kind of lost. I couldn't put my finger on it. It wasn't until after high school I joined the military and went to a community college, took acting class on a whim outside of college. And that was it, man. I found it. It just clicked. So I'm in full force with that. It was going good. Took a little time off. I had to do a little, serve some time in the military. And it got to a point where I turned 30 years old, and my brother and my dad were like, get your ass out of here. We can handle it. And I moved to LA. Moved to LA. I learned the other side of the business, and I was still progressing as an actor. It was going pretty good. Met my wife out there. Learned all about distribution, producing films. I was in a couple production companies that failed. And I think that's important for learning what works and what doesn't. So I always take advice from people. I don't know about you, Vin, but I always take advice from people that have been around the block a little bit rather than someone that just climbs consistently. And it's like, how do you get a win all the time? You know, if I like taking advice from people that get knocked down a little bit and come back. And I feel like I've been that guy. So my mistakes are smaller now. And that's it. Met my wife out there, came back to Jersey. Career started going better as an actor as well. Started making movies, and it all led me to you, Vin. I did it all for this friggin' moment right here, right now, man. This is what I was waiting for, bro.
It all culminates to this moment right here.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
congratulations.
it.
You've reached the big time, Kevin.
Yeah. No, this is great, man. I do watch your show, man, and you got a great personality, a great guest, and it's a pleasure just talking to a real dude. And being full time in the business for so long, it's kind of few and far between to get that chance to chop it up with someone. So it's all good. I appreciate having me here.
Hey, you know what? Thanks for the compliments. I really try to make it about the guests. And I enjoy when people ask me why. I just enjoy talking to people, and I really like to showcase people like yourself that are doing the work, that are in the business, that are just they're getting there, man. They're getting there, and they keep on doing all the right moves, even with some mistakes, because I totally identify with what you're saying.
Sure.
And as far as not making big mistakes, that's a sign of progress, obviously. But as a friend used to say to me, you have two ears and one mouth because you're supposed to listen twice as much as you speak.
Yeah.
Not that I take that advice, but it's good advice.
Yeah, it's great. That's my dad said it too. You got 2 ears. Listen before you talk. He'd always say to me, sounds a kid. I made honest mistakes. And I don't put blame on anybody, even if I got burned plenty of times, which who hasn't, right? Some scars are a little deeper than others, but ultimately it always falls on me because I'm the one that chose to trust and do business with someone. And I realized several years ago, those decisions were, whether it was masked or I didn't realize it, out of desperation. Actors are consistently unemployed, and making a film from scratch is not it's not the easiest thing. I'm not going to complain about it. I chose this career and I love it, but I had to make some choices to realize the downside of them before I said, okay, never again, never again. So I guess doing that, man, a few times is enough, and I tended to rely and bank on myself a lot more, right? You heard, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. And I've heard that my whole life with my father in the business, and I kind of adopted that mentality too. But you can't do everything by yourself, man. And if I could pride myself in anything, Vin, which I'm probably the last person to pat myself on the back about anything. It's that I've always been good with surrounding myself with good people. That's my
Take us
thing.
through the journey now. You spent some time in LA. How was that? Was that those were like the formative years that inspired you to kind of get into the acting, or was that?
No, no, I was acting. I started acting when I was about 20. And then when I was 24, it was going good too. I had some roles on TV and a couple of films lined up. It was going quick, very quick. I was in the Army National Guard, and my unit got activated to go to Baghdad in 2004. So I did a tour there, came back, and my enlistment was up, and took me a while to get back on the horse again, you know. But
Appreciate the service,
it's
Kevin.
oh, thanks, man, thanks. But that's what this being an actor is what pulled me back to finding myself again. I owe this craft me. I don't know how else to say it. This is a lifesaver, and I just continued with it and moved forward. And yeah, by the time I moved to Los Angeles, things were okay. But the tax credits were gone in New Jersey and New York at the time, so work was scarce. And that's when I said my brother and my father kind of gave me the boot, and they're like, you gotta put both feet in, because I was working, especially my dad. I'd have to take off to do an audition every now and then. And my old man's going to be digging a ditch by himself. I got to bail out for a whole day to go all the way. The deal, you're from Philly. I got to go all the way up to New York City, right? Take the train, go here, come all the way back for like a 3-minute audition. And the thought of doing that, my dad was working. I just couldn't, it just drove me nuts. So I used to bail on auditions, and I could never beat both feet in until I went to Los Angeles. When I did that, then I went out there like a ball of fire, man. You could have put a brick wall in front of me. It would have knocked it down. There was nothing stopping me out there. And I kind of kept that mentality to this day. So out there, I learned a lot. I learned the other side of the business. Like I told you, I learned a lot about distribution, foreign sales, selling, making films the right way. And I just took all of it back. I learned it for a long time, studied. And then when I came back to Jersey, I was like, it's time. It's time. And somehow or another, man, yeah, COVID hit. I got a TV show out here when I moved to Jersey called City on a Hill. And my wife was on the show too. And then once that ended, COVID hit. And I was like, I don't know what the hell to do, man. So I just started writing. I wrote a couple scripts prior to then. I ended up writing 3 scripts. And then somehow or another, they all got funded in a row. And, with COVID, man, it was like, I'm not going to stop. Like, I have to work. So they just lined up. So I ended up shooting 3 films back to back to back. I made 3 films in 6 months. And then I was in post-production with 3 films in that entirety. It was quite the task the past couple of years. So I'm still kind of coming down off it now. St. Michael the City just got released April 5th. And other projects. Brother, I just work. I'm in a creative endeavor. I devote everything I have into it. Thank God the work I do, well, hopefully it's interesting, but I just hustle, man. I feel like I miss out on a lot. I sacrifice a lot, but it's what I want to do.
No, on the contrary, listen, I think that, and I can identify too, not to the same degree as you and many others out there, but as far as that real, like the struggle, like you're going to, do I go take the ride up an hour and a half, 2 hours to New York for something that's like a wing and a prayer, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
never know, you might meet somebody and the casting agent might like you, and now you're building rapport with somebody. So you want to take the shot. You don't want to
yeah,
lose any opportunity, but then you're letting people down. It's costing you a day's pay. It's very tough to do this business, but
yeah.
can be very rewarding too.
Yeah, yeah, it could be. And to point out what you just said there, I remember being there with that mentality too. I remember thinking, if I go or if I don't go, there could be that one person you meet, and this leads to that and everything. And after a while, Vin, you know what? I started saying, like, I don't want to curse on your podcast.
Well, I have a swear jar somewhere around here.
Do
You
you
can
throw 100 and oh
you can
yeah.
just Venmo me.
Yeah, I'll Venmo you. At
Well,
one point, I said, "Frig this, man." I just started betting on myself more, and I it sickened me that someone I'll never meet or may never meet, someone I didn't know, and I was putting weight on that. I was putting weight on the dream, putting weight on, oh, it could be someone there, or even people were like saying that to me, Kev, you're this close. Kev, you're this, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff, which is nice, to hear. But goes right through me. Really, I was kind of focused, but I was putting weight on other people, and I had to pull that back after a while because that shit drives you nuts. And then the more I kind of took that power back for myself, the more empowered I was, and realized, like, you know what, I could do this. I could do this myself. If there's opportunities that are missed, then that's just the way it's gonna go. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna stop or slow down because I possibly missed a casting director somewhere, and I just kind of moved on from that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, of course, a lot of it has to do with destiny. I think
Yeah,
as people in the entertainment field, you're all worried about the dynamics of things. If you do this wrong, that's going to happen. This is not going to happen.
yeah,
It's meant to be. It tends to happen. One way or another. Success and that type of thing tends to find you.
yeah, yeah, man. It's true. It's true, and I do believe in that as well. And I think that the best way for me to approach this industry is to stand on my own 2 feet, and it just kind of gives me well, it's a lot less aggravating, it's a lot less uh a feeling of desperation. You know what I mean? Everything just kind of feels like I'm more in control. Not that I'm a control freak, it's not that, but there's so many powers that be that can take your life and your career one way or another way when you start climbing up. For me, I don't like the idea of someone that I don't know or someone that I'll never even meet dictating my life, my career and my life. If an audition comes, boom, I'll do my thing and I'll rock and roll. If I get it, great. If I don't, fuck it. I'm doing my thing.
That's $5 you got to Venmo me.
Frigate, sorry, 250.
I give you a discount. I have the coupon. Now, Kevin, talk to us about, or tell the guests about, the three movies you mentioned before. I know, of course, St. Michael City's St. Michael the City. We've spoken to Adam Ratcliffe about, and Jeff Stewart about, and Tom about. So let's talk about your three films.
Okay.
Most recent films.
The first one well, Malicious was released in October. Malicious is a thriller horror. We shot that in, I think, 11 days up in the Poconos. It's a one location movie, and it's a real simple subject. A crooked politician and his family go on a little weekend getaway. Someone knocks on the door, unexpected guest. Before you know it, they're tied up on a couch and all hell breaks loose, and a lot of secrets are revealed. That one popped. That was unexpected. These three movies, all three were made for under $100,000, and Malicious was on. It was the most popular horror on Tubi for 2 months straight out of nowhere. It was pretty wild.
Beautiful.
And The Bastard Sons came out. That was the first movie I ever directed, and that was just a gangster film about these 5 bastard brothers that grew up together, and their father, who was the boss of the family, was killed before the movie began. So when the movie starts, they get together, they regroup. I played the boss's son, and I told them I know who did it. It's someone from inside the family, and we're going to retaliate. But before we do, we're going to pull these heists to make some money so we can go to business on our own. So it all takes place over one day, really. And that was shot all over Jersey and in the Poconos as well. And then St. Michael of the City. That was fun, man. I had fun writing that too. That was my favorite script. And I talked to Adam Ratcliffe. I know Adam talked about the project a little bit. We met years ago. I knew Jeff Stewart even before that. We worked together. He's another great guy. And I sent Adam the script to play Michael. I didn't want to play the lead in it. I found the other role just a little bit more interesting for me, so I just jumped in it. But yeah, we shot that in Trenton and Doylestown, right in Bucks County. There, we had a good time, and that just got released as well on April 5th. So yeah, it's a nice.
That's great, man. That's great. I have to give a shout out to Tom LaVecchia again for me to all you guys. So Tom LaVecchia, check out his podcast for you viewers out there. New Theory Podcast. Check it out. Right. New Theory Podcast. Great guy and great content.
Yeah, Tom's the man. He's been influential on literally all 3 films. I'm so happy I linked up with him. He came to a screening for The Bastard Sons. We linked up, and he was he's responsible for a lot of the awareness of all 3 of those films. A lot. So my hat goes off to Tom. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Uh, so with the success you mentioned of these films, have you had, Hollywood? I'm sure Hollywood's been you've been in communication with, but have you gotten any knocks on the door with some big wigs or anybody that has saying, "Hey, listen, we like what you did. Give us a three-picture deal." Anything like that's happened from this so far?
No, no, that usually happens when you get into one of those big film festivals. Um, and that's kind of dying down too now, man. The business is changing. It's changing in favor of the entrepreneur. The system is still there, but it's slightly broken. So the entrepreneur filmmaker, someone that can make a good movie and then knows how to market it correctly and hit the selling points and make sure it goes to the right avenues, that seems to be the man or the woman that's succeeding now. Um, Hollywood is I don't know if it matters, Vin, to be honest with you. The money's cool, to get in those big films and the major releases, that's cool. But all three films that I just mentioned to you, they were all listed. I remember when The Bastard Sons came out, it was right next to Oppenheimer, and St. Michael was right next to a couple of the big ones. That's the nature of the beast of these streaming platforms. It's so wonderful the opportunity you have. If you make something that has some value, some worth, the platform itself will recognize it, and it's called front paging. They'll front page it and put it right right next to these multi-million dollar movies. So you tell me, man, from a viewer's perspective, if you see a really cool poster like St. Michael, it came out great, next to Run All Night with Liam Neeson and this one, that one, yada, yada. People just click it, I mean, to the normal viewer, it looks from the outside looking in, it's just a movie, whether it's a big studio, Hollywood or independent, it's just there. So I think that the world is our oyster right now. And people that are hustling really hard and doing the best they can to make the best movie, and they have a good head on their shoulders, they're succeeding. So no one really knocked on the door from Hollywood yet. I did get a couple of calls from friends that I know they're pretty well known, and they want me to jump into a couple of things with them. But that was kind of in the works before the release of St. Michael, and then we'll see what happens and where it goes. We'll take it from there.
Yeah, I have to. And quick point on that. I think it was I spoke with about this with Adam.
Mhm.
The artwork for that was great.
Oh yeah,
Michael said, really, I forget the name. It was, I believe it was Adam who mentioned the person that actually did it, or the company that did that. They did a phenomenal job with that.
yeah. The robot eye is he goes by Chris Davidson. He did all three posters for the three movies I did. And when I sold The Bastard Sons to a very big distributor in Hollywood, it turned out that he's the one that does their posters as well. That's what I was saying. Like, everything's achievable now. Everything's accessible. Using the same people that they would use, but my budget on those films were compared to that. But then they're right next to each other. So it's kind of cool.
And and those outside the business may not know it, but distribution is the hardest thing to get. So it's an
Yeah.
accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, and that's like the devil. Sometimes it's like the devil or the devil you don't. So I've been fortunate to meet some cool people in distribution, and the doors were opened to me for the past few years or whatever films I'm in, so to speak. So I could just kind of walk them in, and they would check them out and take it from there. And it's got to be the right fit. But distribution companies, man, they're just like agents and managers sometimes, because there's some good eggs out there, and those are the ones I associate with. But everyone's a business owner. You know what I'm saying, Vin? Like, everyone in this business is a business owner. Just because they're a business owner doesn't mean that they do good business. They're just there. And in the film industry and this indie Hollywood world, um, there's such an air of desperation that goes with every artist, that you make bad deals. You make bad deals all the time because you just want to make a deal to climb, or make a deal because it puts your name out there, whatever it is. So sometimes you got to take a hit to make the good deal, and most of the time people get burned. They get burned bad.
Yeah,
Get
I've heard
burned.
some horror stories. I was going to say that about distribution.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a newbie and you don't really know what you're doing, you could really get.
Yeah, I hate seeing that, man. I give advice when I can. I actually wish I had more time too. I started a YouTube channel with my partner Glenn Rodriguez, and I've been giving acting advice and even filmmaker advice and stuff with selling sites.
Go ahead and mention it, Kev. What's the name of it?
It's my name, Kevin Interdonato. It's right on there on YouTube. Hashtag TNP Pro, which is Take No Prisoners. That's my production company. I had that on my wall in LA, man. Every morning I woke up to it. It's like, take no prisoners. Yeah, so it's you get burned. Some people get burned so goddamn bad it takes them right out of the business. Some people come into the film business and they think they're hot shit. They made a lot of money in other businesses outside of the film world, and they think they're gonna walk in here and take it over. And it's like it just doesn't go like that, you know. So one wrong move can really burn you bad. But if you can make a film and get the right people around you, like I mentioned, you know, you're off to a decent start. You'll stay in it.
Yeah, I think the key here, if I'm hearing right, which I already know, but you have to surround yourself with with decent people with integrity, and then things will fall into place. And you
Yeah.
know, but don't be too. I would say definitely don't be too anxious to make a deal because it could be a hit that you're going to regret for the rest of your life that you didn't get a better deal for.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's tough doing that. And especially if you're going to take people's money, you know, which most people are, they're in a dreamlike state. They just want to get their movie done, get their movie done. And I've been an actor in in some films too with bigger budgets. And I'm like they're spending so much money. Why is everybody standing around? Nobody's working. What do we need 3 grip trucks for? Like coming from a family construction business, I'm always seeing dollars and cents flying by. As an actor, I saw that. So I was catching on. So when I started doing my films, I'm like, I'm cutting this down to a quarter. You know, I'm going to get a team of warriors in Jersey and Philly to come out here and just kick ass. And that's what everyone did, you know?
That's and that's important, man. Like me, and for those out there that may not know this, the few people I keep mentioning it, but we're working on a project and I'm just about done the script, and we're gonna by probably about this time next year we'll be shooting. But in the meantime,
Oh,
we're gonna be
great.
raising investment dollars. For me, I'd rather make sure that these investors get paid and are happy
Yeah.
before I see a cent,
Yeah.
because that's just how I am.
Yeah.
I won't be able to sleep at night thinking that I got somebody, I have somebody's money that I'm just going to waste. I'm not doing it. I'd rather not do anything than and not take their money.
It's tough,
So
man. It's
I feel,
tough.
and that's a long term. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you should have, if you want to be a filmmaker, you should have a long term goal and make sure you're taking care of the people that are taking care of you first.
You're absolutely right. Long-term goal and the short-term goals to fulfill it, you know? And yeah, your film's either going to get a big upfront, well, not even big, it's going to get an advance, and then the distributor will recoup that, or you don't get an advance at all and you do a better rev share deal, you know? It's all negotiable, everything. But I'm the same way, man. I can't even take five. I feel guilty for owing you $5 for the jar right now. I haven't even Venmoed you yet. So
Excuse me, 750.
is that it? It's tough, you know. It's tough feeling that you owe people something. But if you're setting up a project as a producer now, you know, if you set something up where you cross all the T's and dot all the I's, and you're like, you know what, this is a good business model. Like this makes sense. Then you, or at least I feel comfortable talking to somebody about money. I don't feel weird about it. You know I put my time in. I put years in. I'm like, this is
So,
foolproof. This
Kevin,
works.
before we wrap it up, tell us what's going on. What do you got going on right now? What's coming up in the future?
Right now, I'm getting ready to direct my next film called Dirty Hands. It's a wild ride about two brothers that blow a deal over drugs and money, and they're on the run in Chicago. Their car runs out of gas. They hole up in a warehouse, and everyone's trying to get them. I'll just leave it at that. It's kind of a cross between that movie Drive with Ryan Gosling and Michael Mann's Thief. I don't know if you go old school, but with a lot of violence. That's cooking, man. We're going to do that in Chicago in October. And casting a couple of films, one of which is going to be a wild one. It's called Rosedale, this brilliant sci-fi movie we're going to be shooting hopefully sometime this year. We'll see. And a couple more on the burners too. So keep me busy, man.
Beautiful. And then where could the guests find you?
Instagram, just look up my name, and YouTube, same thing, Kevin Interdonato. If you can spell it right, you'll find it. And yeah, everyone say hello, and it'd be a pleasure to connect with you.
Kev, it's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to maybe speak with you offline because you know what, man, that's I'd like to align myself with great people, and I like what you're about. And again, guests, listen, seriously, I know I say this, but I mean this. Please make sure you're following and supporting Kevin. go to his YouTube, subscribe right away, follow him on Instagram, and be supportive in any way possible. And also, monetarily through, downloading his movies and supporting him in that way as well. Kevin, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. I can't wait to do this again. Any final words for the striving young filmmaker actor out there?
Keep going and don't deal with jerks. That's it. And you'll be fine. Vinny, thanks so much, man. It's a pleasure. And yeah, well, let's chop it up offline too, for sure.
Absolutely, man. Kevin, you are the man. Again, folks, we've been listening to Kevin Interdonato, and we hope you will subscribe to my channel, Vinny Presents, as well as follow and support Kevin in all his various projects and more to come. So, Kevin, we'll see you next time, man. Thanks for being part of the show.
Thanks, Vin. Take care, man.
Catch you next time.